Yeah, how you guys doing? It's been a while.
Are we here?
I call this order of the original trio, the self-publishing podcast, and what was that other shit? The Story Studio?
Yeah, that's when we started to go downhill.
Yeah, you
And-
have to
and-
say the Story Studio podcast. Which self-publishing podcast? The self-publishing podcast. The OG.
Yes, the original. And yeah, and now we're back for this, what is being called the Smarter Artist podcast.
It's the Smarter Artist Show. It's the Smarter Artist Show.
Okay, maybe
Is
I'll
it
write
too
that right
early to
someday.
draw attention to the little windscreen on the front of Dave's microphone? It looks like it might have been chewed.
It
Like, it's-
was an accident. That's all I'll say to that. It
Dave,
was-
our last episode, I think, was like 6 years ago. Have you cut your hair in between now and then?
Yes, I have actually. Yeah, you didn't even notice. Like one time, I was actually just so annoyed, I cut it myself and like cut it like right to here. I cut off like that much.
I did not notice. Once it gets past like a certain threshold, it's just long hair. I don't notice that it's like longer than long.
Yeah, it was quite long, and we should talk about my hair for the first show. The
I
entire
think
show.
can that be my something cool? Dave's hair or Dave's big gray beard?
Fuck off! It's gonna be jet black next time I'm on.
Is this really our intro? We've been on 6 years, and this is what we're doing.
Yes, this
how
is
we're
our
starting the
intro.
show.
I'm not editing a single bit of this.
Okay,
Well, there's
actually,
the
I'm
value
gonna-
proposition.
I'm gonna
Welcome back,
correct
everybody.
Here, so Dave is officially the host of this new shit show, and in fact, for those of you on YouTube, that's actually what his name says. It says David Wright, the host of this shit show.
I
And-
wasn't
and
sure
Johnny's
shit
the new
show is
Dave.
one word or two, so I'll just leave it as one.
I
We
think
should
shit
probably
show is
call
one
him
word.
editor though.
I think shit show is one word.
Okay. All right. So yeah, this is our return to podcasting. Why are we here though? I mean, that's the real question. And why am I the fucking host? The guy that talked the least in the previous incarnations.
I was
I have
told
several
that if
answers
I
for that.
came, my children would be released.
I can't promise that they're all still alive. That's all I'll say.
We're here for a few.
Wait, hold on. We just got in under the window. 5 minutes, dead child joke. Okay, we're good. Okay.
Hey, Dave, do you want to tell? Do you want to tell any of the jokes that you were telling before we started recording?
The ones about your mom?
No,
Go on.
no, the other ones. I think they were a little more political.
Oh yeah, I was gonna. Oh yeah, okay. Let's get canceled.
That was actually Dave's goal. He wants to see how quickly we could get the show canceled, so he doesn't have to host anymore.
I would like to call this the Let's Get Canceled podcast and just go on political rants for like an
we
hour.
actually had that podcast, and we scrubbed it from the internet. Remember?
The worst show ever. That wasn't political all that often. It was more about just me hating everybody.
No, it wasn't political at
myself,
all.
most of
It was
all.
just it was a container for saying some truly horrible shit from all three of us. And then when we got into the IP space and we're like, oh, we're gonna sell some of our IP to Hollywood, we got scared that some of those episodes would be discovered. I mean, it was the height of the cancel era.
Yeah, for
And
the
we were
record,
just
I
like-
was against removing those. So
And I think Johnny was right. I actually wish we had never taken them down.
put them back, bitch.
We could probably find them and bring them back.
Dude, they're missing. I think they're on YouTube, but the actual like audios, we can't find them in Dropbox. They're
Okay.
just like.
Do you think the audience is having a hard time keeping up with all the self-publishing notes they're making right now?
Wow, Johnny has become the new Dave,
Oh, he became the new Dave a long time ago.
coming in with one
2021.
smart ass comment, then sits back and just waits.
I'm
for
not
the-
allowed to be the host. I'm supposed to sit back. I'm like
Oh,
a
you're
guest
allowed. I'll
here.
hand it over right now.
Dave is dying for you to become the host.
Yes,
So-
I'm hoping to fuck this up so badly.
That is a legit question. Why are we here and why are you the host?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Well, okay. So do we want to start in with that, or do we want to start with our something cools?
No, start in with that, and then we could do this.
Especially since a lot of people might not know what the fuck a something cool is. Be like, oh,
Or
they're telling
us.
me something cool about why am I here?
Well, we're adding this to our old feed, so hopefully it's like there's not many beats skipped. So three of us have been talking about getting the band back together for a really long time, on and off for like 6 years. And in fact, we
Has
had
it been 6 years since we did a regular podcast?
no, I think it was in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, because in 2020, I think we did like a state of the industry type of
Yeah,
thing.
you're right. It hasn't been 6 years. It's been since 2020.
Yeah.
Well, in Trump's America, it feels like 12 years.
All right. Fuck you.
Recording this in 2026.
All
Just
right.
saying.
We all can agree that time is weird now. Like the world is moving fast and time isn't what it used to be.
Yeah,
So
and you should be careful when you go, like, to Target because you can get thrown into an entire totally different dimension if a guy with carts, like, cuts you off, and that's a deep cut for the true original fans.
Dave, did you know that Johnny and I actually wrote that entire thing as a story?
You did?
Yes, it's a sequel to Decoy Wallet. This isn't me fucking around. This is actually a true story. So Johnny and I wrote something called Decoy Wallet about this guy named Leo Monroe, who is that his name, Johnny? Leo Monroe?
Yeah, I think so. Dave loved this story, if I remember right.
So he
Wedding scene was the best.
no, he's never read it. It was redacted that he shit all over.
That was pretty bad. Redacted was fucking terrible.
He never read this, but Johnny and I loved Decoy Wallet. It was really good. It even had a guy named Trumpado as the bad guy, which I think means I will punch your face.
I think so. That's right. You're the guy who used to be Mexican.
And then there was a sequel that we wrote called Leo versus a New Branch of Reality. And it was all about that time you ranted about the shopping carts at Target sending you into a new branch of reality. So you're welcome to read it anytime you want. Just tell me or I'll slack you the
I'll get right on that. You know, I don't have any time, what with all the podcasts I'm hosting now. It's like,
So we not only have we so we've been wanting to get back and do this a long time. And for those of you keeping score at home, we actually recorded a podcast called Alternate Ending for a full year that we never published a
Yeah,
single.
there's another one I was happy about.
So
And they were really good. There was no reason that those didn't get published. It was a year of really cool shows.
you know, Sean, he come up with this idea. He's like, let's punk Johnny so hard, waste a year of his life, a few hours a week, more than like 4 or 5 hours, because we had to watch a show or a movie, then we had to talk about it for an hour and a half, and then all the other production and shit. So Sean's like, let's just fuck Johnny really hard.
it was so fun. So yeah, we talked about getting back for a long, long time, and we had a couple of aborted attempts. And we had when Johnny was doing his artisan author thing last year, we did a reunion episode, and that was really fun. But then Johnny and I met up in Vegas for Author Nation the last 2 years, and both years there was just like there's obviously magic when the three of us get together. It's just fun. And
or two of us in a glory
right.
hole.
When you're in Florida, which is paradise, right, Dave?
Yes.
Johnny and I, like, we have a great time without you. We don't need you, but we like you. We
That's
love
what
you.
my wife says.
And but there's also, it's not just the chemistry of being together, which is great. Johnny and I are writing again after a few years not writing together, but we're writing Unicorn Heathens. Unicorn Western was born on this very show, like 13 years ago, I think. Is that right?
Speaking of aborted things,
It was on Better Off Undead.
Oh, that wasn't even a self-publishing podcast?
No, it was the zombie apocalypse episode. The one that was, I believe that one got edited a few times, even back in those days, if I remember correctly, because there was some discussion in there that made Dave uncomfortable enough that he called you the next day.
probably where Sean doxed me.
It's a standard thing.
You know what was fun about those episodes was when Dave would like flip out after the show and he'd be like, oh my God, do you think people are going to think X, Y, or Z? And then we'd have to go and edit something that was totally unnecessary to edit. Being in person is fun, but like there's a, I don't know, there was a sense of just like heaviness. Nostalgia is probably not even the right word, but just the recurring thing that Johnny and I kept hearing is some version of the world is a shit show, and it feels really good to see you guys together, to hear you guys together. Because
It's almost like we're heroes and the world needed heroes right now.
no, it's not like that at all. But it is like,
I got to change my business card then.
I think we remind people of a time when things were simpler, when self-publishing was simpler. And, this isn't a self-publishing podcast. It's about, being a smarter artist and, making money off of your art and your creativity and, in a sustainable way, which all three of us have been at this for a very long time. It's, 15 years in indie publishing years is like I don't know, a century or something. I mean, it's a long time.
I feel like Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon.
You're too old for this shit?
Yes.
Well, it's, I've gotta say, like, after a lot of time talking about it and then deciding, like, 2026 is the year, we're doing it, it's only week 2 of the year, and, like, I'm so happy, I'm so excited. I've been, like, this thought I just I'm ready for this. This is really, really fun. So, we're here because we missed it, we missed talking to each other, we missed talking to you guys, listening, and, it's a great way to connect with each other, to stay connected with each other, and to connect with an audience. And I think that being in person in Vegas, I really got reminded of that. In 2024 was my first time. Johnny had gone the year before me, and then I went last year, or well, I went last year, but the year before, and we had talked about starting the podcast again, but life is busy, business is busy.
Not starting the podcast again, starting a podcast.
Yes,
Again.
just doing something, and now we are writing together. Dave's never left. Dave and I have consistently written together now for 17 years, which is just like, I mean, that's a shocking long period of time, and,
We could have one really fucked up child together.
our lives are all intersecting, and it feels good. Like, there's some things you wanna just do for fun, and, like, this isn't just for fun. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for us to do this, but I think fun for all 3 of us is a primary driver, and it is fun to see Johnny become such a curmudgeon. I mean, this dude, like, lives for people to get the fuck off his lawn.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. It is really hard for me not to be the host, though, because you guys are
By
doing
all means,
such a
Dave.
shitty job. Like, I'm like, who are we? Why are we here? I mean, I know it's the old feed, but like,
Yeah, Dave, do a better job. That's what Johnny does.
No, I'm eventually steering this right into the fucking.
like, what is
Johnny's
the,
gonna
no,
take
that's
over,
okay.
man.
I'll just sit back. Sean and Dave said, "Hey, Johnny, do you want to join the little podcast we're doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, let's do that." I'll sit back. I won't say who we're doing, what we're doing. Well, we had the self-publishing podcast. This is not that, right? Like, this is an attempt to, like you said, to rekindle some of the fun stuff. So just
And be heroes that the world needs.
and be heroes that the world needs. I mean, we had that podcast for, I don't know, a handful of good years, right? Like, then it trailed off. And it was great, but it was the kind of thing you can't recapture. You can't be like, boy, I wish it was the early days of self-publishing again, because we did kind of try to continue the show, and it didn't have the same energy because the world was not the same. We were not the same. We were no longer, like, we got by on blokish humor and the fact that we were stumbling through it, and people said that they felt like that we were like, they were sitting next to us at a bar and overhearing the conversation. Well, that didn't fly once the market matured and people had actual things to say, and they were organized and they had scripts, and we do this. So,
Well, we also we got gun shy because the more we talked about our business, the more we were hurting our business. Where in the early days, it didn't hurt us. Like, we could be very transparent, which is, I think, our natural state. All 3 of us just wanna, well, Dave's as
No,
secretive as
I'm
they come.
opaque as
Actually, I
hell.
take that back, right? Dave doesn't wanna tell anybody anything ever.
You don't even know my real name after all these years.
That is true. So, well, actually, Johnny's the one here with the actual fake name, right? So, look, all of us like the idea in the early days of just talking about what was and wasn't working in the business. And that was really, really fun. And then when we saw how damaging that was algorithmically, we had to stop. That's when we got into the pen name business. And then it became less fun, and it became more of an obligation.
the whole self-publishing world became less fun, I think. I mean, I talked about this a lot during the run-up to so I did a Kickstarter and a book last year in 2025 called The Artisan Author. And it was basically like, we've gotten so tactical that people who consider themselves artists and want to just do this a simple commerce, I have something of value, would you like to buy it for fair value, like that sort of, and like, hey, you're a person and I'm a person, and it's not about algorithms. So that was the attempt to do that. But in the run up to that had a lot of old self-publishing podcast energy. And so we did the reunion episode, which I don't know if you posted that on the SPP feed or not. So that might be the one right before this. But then it was like,
I don't think
we didn't. Okay. Because I know we were talking about it, but maybe we didn't. And then it was like, we should do something again. Like, that's kind of how we ended that. And we got the old band back together, and not just us, but like the viewers and the listeners, because we did it live. We used to do it live, and we had people who were live, and they were the old names. They were Jan Schlosser and Thomas Bennett and, all the people that we used to know back in the day. And we were like, we want more of this. And although this isn't live, that was the attempt, was like, what could we do that was kind of low impact, but not low impact, low like stress on us, and low sense of like it needs to have a purpose. Like, for me, there's no purpose. Like, I have nothing to sell. I have nothing going on. I'm just here for the lulls, as they say. So that's kind of, I think, the idea, right? Is to just powwow and provide some of that barstool conversation again, and that sort of thing. Is that
Well, yeah,
basically it?
I like talking about what we're doing, and I feel like the industry matured into a place where it just became pay to play, and we couldn't get by on the same things as we used to. So we used to, I mean, Johnny and I both come from the copywriting world, and there was a time when you could just come up with a clever title like Fat Vampire or Unicorn Western, and you had your list, and your list and the title was enough as long as the story was good enough. And then that kind of atrophied. That just wasn't the way you made money in indie publishing anymore. And you had the whole rapid release model, and it just became a very different thing. And it wasn't something that any of the three of us were particularly interested in. And then like we became Sterling and Stone, which is our publishing company. Johnny's not with us day to day, but he's still a partner in the company. And Dave is with us day to day and also a partner in the company. And we became a KU business for a while, and not a good one, And so we were like playing the same game as everybody else and not as well. And it just didn't feel good. We went from being like really big innovators in the space to just kind of treading water in the space. And now, we're on the other side of a patchy couple of years, and we're selling IP to film and television, and that's really fun. And we're back in a really innovative space. And I'm just kind of ignoring algorithms. We're doing more with direct sales. We're doing more with like reader relationships. Johnny is deep into that. Johnny, like sells in person is a big thing that he's doing, which, is really cool. It's that
I thought that was called
one-on-one.
prostitution.
Yeah, we operate. I'm actually kind of curious how. I mean, I don't want to go into like deep into the weeds on this sort of thing right now, but I am kind of curious how we work, because like I'm pretty divorced from what you guys are doing. So like I never liked the KU thing, and I'm not involved in selling IP to Hollywood. Like, I am functionally completely and totally separate, but I'm curious like how, because it's one of the reasons I wrote The Artisan Author, but I'm not like the artisan author guy now. Like, I just don't give a shit. I felt like I had something I needed to say, and now I'm done. Is I started getting irritated with the tactical thinking in this environment. And so like, I don't know, I'm just not interested in chasing the self-publishing trends, what's hot right now. It's like, that's why Sean says I'm a curmudgeon, like kind of jokingly, but also kind of true. I'm going to write books, and I'm going to find people and talk to them and sell to them. Like, I'm not interested in algorithms. I'm not interested in KU. I'm not interested in finding the newest, hottest thing. And honestly, it kind of bugs me that is still the dominant thing that people want to know. Like, what is the button I push? What is the
Oh
thing I do?
yeah,
What is the
I'm
lever I
not
pull?
interested in talking about that shit at all. So in short, we don't need to get into the weeds, especially in this episode. But the whole like our trajectory was, like I don't want to chase the algorithms at all. It was, I guess, 2020. And we made a very conscious decision as a company to basically the market had dropped out. We used to be able to compete with traditional publishers by making our books $5 instead of $10. And then all of a sudden they had to be $1. And then they had to be in KU, essentially free, and you got paid on page reads. The bigger our lists were getting, the more disconnected we felt to both the art and the audience. There was a point in the company where we said we need to start ignoring the $1 customer and start focusing on the $1 million customer, which meant IP. It meant selling our stuff and trying to get it to film and television. And that worked really well in our first year out. But then the writer's strike put like a big giant kibosh on that. Like, we lost like pretty much all the traction in our first year. We lost pretty immediately once the strike started. And then in conjunction with that, we had almost $1 million hit as a company, because a company that we were doing a lot of ghostwriting for were basically kind of went bankrupt overnight. And so we got like a lot of unpaid invoices and contracted work that just disappeared. And so we had to recover from that. And one of the ways that we tried to recover from that is getting into the KU business, which only disillusioned me more. It's like, for me, and there are people who are very innovative in the KU space for sure. But for me, that particular space, like, it isn't innovative and not the way I think, not the way I operate. And so now that I mean, we definitely have KU lines. It's not that we're anti-KU, but it needs to be one little sliver of the business. And I'm more invigorated than I've been in years. I feel like it's actually a time for innovation right now because so many people are doing things exactly the same way. That's when you are like, okay, well, here's how we reinvent it. Here's how we do something different. And that's always been the space that excites me the most. I like living 2 years into the future. And that's where we are right now. We're more innovative as a company than we've been in many, many years. And that's the kind of stuff that's always going to be fun for me to talk about.
Well, I'm not talking about any of that. Let's get to our something cool.
Why don't you go first, Dave? What's your something cool?
Me first. There's this movie called The Dirties. Have you heard of it?
If not,
Are you sure you want to admit to our audience that you're watching something called The Dirties? Is this something that you're getting your free? Is this an OnlyFans thing?
No, it's called The Dirties. It's done by a guy named Matt Johnson who did the Blackberry movie. I feel like you might have seen that, but maybe not.
I have not.
Okay. He's a
You're
Canadian,
saying lots of words I've never heard before together.
but you got porn. Okay. Anyway, he's a Canadian director, writer, and he made this movie called The Dirties in 2013. Super low budget. It is he and another guy star as two like misfit teenagers in a school, and they're doing an indie movie in school about a school shooting against the bullies that like just fuck
My
with
God,
them.
you're just listing Dave tropes right now.
It's like I wrote it. But so it's almost a movie within a movie in the dynamic between, two different guys. One is like really extroverted, who is the director, and then there's the other guy who's kind of like quiet, and he's kind of being dragged into this thing.
Like Johnny into this podcast.
Yes, and slowly,
is this over yet?
slowly, you realize that what started off as a movie, this guy's actually planning a real school shooting, and it's phenomenal. It is
Wow,
way.
that does sound really great. Did you just give a big spoiler away, or is that happening pretty early on?
No. You kind of know going in, and it's one of those you can't even. It was on YouTube without any credits. It used to be on like AMC streaming, so I don't know how well known it is.
How did you find this movie, Dave?
Trying to
Did
think.
you think it was porn, and you were like, "Oh"?
No,
my
I was
God.
watching YouTube. I forget the name of the channel, but he talks about like different horror movies that, are obscure and nobody's heard of. And he started talking about this one, and I'm like, oh, don't spoil it. I want to know more. I want to see this because it looked good. And they really nail the characterization.
Is it better or worse than I Saw the Devil?
Much better.
Which means we'd hate it.
It's very human. It's very like
For those of you
actually,
at home, Dave made us watch the worst movie ever made. It is soul crushing.
y'all a bunch of pussies. No, it's very human, and you care about what's happening to the characters, and there's like this slow build of dread, like you don't know, is this guy really going to do what you think he's going to do? And I won't spoil it, obviously. It's got a short runtime, like an hour, 20 minutes or so, I don't know. But it looks really good. It's low budget. It was filmed at like an actual school in Canada. And it was just one of those movies that makes you think like long after it's over. And I was just really surprised by how well it was done on so little money.
Well,
And
that does genuinely sound good.
yeah.
All jokes aside, and this is actually isn't well, it's a half joke. Do they have school shootings in Canada? Isn't that just like a uniquely American thing?
I don't know.
Does it take place in Canada, or is it a Canadian movie? I mean,
Trying to think if they ever say where it takes place. I don't think they do.
because I feel
I'm
like
sure
that,
there's been a school shooting in Canada.
especially in 2013, like that's just something that, I mean, us proud Americans, right?
You know, I mean, if they ever threaten to have more school shootings than us, I'm sure we'll like, amp up our school shootings per, capita or whatever.
Keep talking about school shootings, Dave.
Yeah, this video is being just delisted.
People coming back to this, they're like, "Hey, this show's got everything."
Johnny, what's your something cool?
I'm gonna go with Austin and I are watching Invincible. Do you guys watch that?
Was that
I
the
saw the
animated
first
series?
On Amazon, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
he
watched the
introduced
first
me to
season.
it. It's what's interesting about it is it feels like old school. I mean, I don't imagine it. It looks like the old He-Man cartoons or
Yeah, like
something.
1980s.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks very, very like
It
the
looks
old
like
school
there's toys for
hand-drawn.
sale.
Yeah, totally. But what's so interesting about it, I think, is it's the moral ambiguity, the questions that are asked are like, because you get to see a lot about the real collateral damage that's caused by these superheroes and how it affects other people, and are the good guys actually doing a shit ton of bad? And there's a lot of that, like, is this bad option worse than this worse option sort of things, like those anytime that there's a lot of power involved. And it's extraordinarily violent and graphic.
It's stupidly violent.
And it's so juxtaposed with that kind of sweet, nostalgic, hand-drawn looking illustration style is really jarring. Like, it takes you a little while. You're like, oh my God, what's going on here? Am I back in the 80s? Well, in both ways. Am I back in the 80s, but the action, that Commando got mixed together with He-Man or something?
So Johnny, you're traditionally anti-superhero. I mean, you like Batman, but like the
I
superpowers.
hate the normal takes on superheroes. I think it's boring. I think that when you watch, like, just Thor is powerful, like, fuck that. Who cares? That's just boring to me. But when you start to see, like, I really like The Boys, right? Like,
I was
that's
just
another
gonna ask
thing.
if you've seen The Boys.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, okay, I believe that would absolutely happen with superheroes, because I always like consequential logic. Like,
Well,
if
because
this
The
were
Boys
true,
isn't about the superheroes. The superheroes are like a vehicle to talk about a bunch of other things, right?
yeah, but I wouldn't even go. I don't even feel that it's necessary to go that far. It's just like, if you have, so this is The Boys, but this is not Invincible. But if you have Homelander, who's like literally invincible on brand, like, of course he'd be a monster. Like, of course. Sorry, that's not a spoiler. You figure that out right away. I always, and like, what my favorite superhero movie is Logan. Like, I love that movie because it's just so, because I don't have a problem with people with fantastical abilities. That would be kind of the definition of a superhero. What I don't like is all the bullshitty hand waving that goes around it and all the spectacle, and like, even, why does everybody wear a fucking cape? Like, what's that about? Like, there's just a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense to me. But you get to Logan, I'm like, oh, okay, that would fuck you up. Like, if you lived his life. And I don't know. I like things to feel grounded, and I like there to be a reason, rather than like, oh, the Earth's sun is yellow, so therefore Superman's got power. So that's the stuff I don't normally like. But I don't have an automatic opposition to it. And plus, I'm watching it with my kid, and that's a piece of it too.
Yeah, I totally get all of that.
I think you'd like the X-Men movies. I mean, that's where Logan is from. The second Wolverine movie is pretty good. The first one I don't remember as well. But yeah, Logan is absolutely the pinnacle of that sort of.
Yeah, I love that movie. It's so grounded. It doesn't feel like a superhero movie. It's a movie with a superhero that doesn't
It's
feel
like
like
a
a superhero
Western.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is more like a Western. My something cool is an entire streaming service. It's
There's not
Apple.
enough of those, I feel.
Well, that's
I
exactly.
want more things to subscribe to.
That's exactly the point.
That's how Sean used to make the company goals, by the way, when I was with the company, was my goals are all the goals.
That is true. I'm definitely in a season of less is more. That was my mantra. So every year I pick a word of the year. My word for this year is unity, by the way. Johnny, what's your word? You've told me your word.
Profit.
PH or FIT?
We're
We're starting a cult, I mean.
Could be both.
So my word last year was regeneration, but I had a phrase too, and my phrase was less is more if I do more with the less that I have. Because famously, I'm an and not an or person. I've always wanted to do that thing and that thing and that thing and that thing, and that has also traditionally gotten me into trouble, and it's gotten my company into trouble. And so, less is more is definitely something that is helping us as we shape our new era. Yeah. So yeah, there are too many streamers like peak TV peaked and then got peakier. So, yes. And that's why I strongly, strongly recommending to everybody listening Apple TV. And the reason I love Apple TV is because they are just so much more of a curated experience than like the whole streaming landscape is like it's more like a warehouse compared to Apple TV is more like a gallery. And the reason this is my something cool is because I was having lunch with Cindy earlier today, and she was telling me about a movie that's coming out. And I was like, oh yeah, that sounds interesting. Like whatever. I was like, it sounded fine, but I wasn't excited about it at all. And then she said, it's coming out on Apple TV. And I immediately perked up. And I was like, oh, I'll probably enjoy it. And it's because like they have consistently trained me. Like if it had been this exact same log line, exact same pitch, but it had been Netflix, I'd have been like, oh, okay, we'll watch that. Right. But I find that in a time when, I don't know, HBO decided they were going to be more like Netflix. Like we're just going to like put a lot of content out. Apple saw an opportunity to be more like the new HBO. And I think it's really worked for them. And some of the shows, if we had recorded this a week ago, Dave Something Cool would have been pluribus. He was talking about that in a company meeting. And that's Vince Gilligan's follow up to Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. And it's really fantastic. I loved the hell out of it. I just finished the finale last week. And I feel like if like they're my holy grail to like get a TV show, if I could pick anywhere, it would be Apple TV because I know that they care. They're really trying to build something bigger. They're trying to build not bigger, but better. They're not going for quantity, they're going for quality. And I just really admire how they've run things. And even like so there's a series that Dave is writing right now. And the reason this series exists is because it's the kind of thing that Apple is buying very specifically. And look, it's a massive long shot that we'll ever actually get this piece of IP onto Apple TV. But that doesn't matter. It's like saying that that's our North Star. It's how we kind of organized all of the ideas around this. And that's what we're kind of writing toward. And I seriously haven't seen Dave this happy writing in years. And when he turned in the draft for the first book in the series, he even said, I normally hate everything I wrote, but I really like this. And so I think that it's a lot of fun to like,
Have you heard from the person editing whether it sucks or not?
No, because the person who is editing is pretty buried right now.
Okay, all right. Because I hadn't heard and I was worried. I was like, oh, it sucks. I knew it. I fucking hate myself.
No. So the person who's editing this particular project is also our head of publishing, and our head of publishing right now is going through like we just opened up for applications a couple of weeks ago, actually right before the holidays, and then we had a last chance like last week. And so now there's just like a lot of applications to go through. So that's where she is for the next couple of weeks. But she's really excited to read it. And I'm really excited to read it once, she's done with it. And I think that I just really loved seeing your enthusiasm. And I don't think that we would have shaped that particular project if that had not been, our North Star. And so anyway, I think that there's a lot of content out there screaming for our attention. And it's kind of weird because Apple, like they are a technology company and they kind of got laughed at when they're like, we're going to spend $500 million a year on content. And people are like, you don't know what you're doing. But they've slowly but surely, year by year, really proven themselves. And I think that's admirable to be the underdog. I mean, it's hard to be an underdog when you're $1 trillion company. I also get that.
But in the content.
But yeah,
arena.
they were. And I think that they've handled it with a lot of care. And also, for us, indie storytellers out there, they're also like Hugh Howey's, Wool became Silo on Apple. That's cool.
He's got like 2 things on there, I think.
Hugh Howey does?
Yeah.
What's the other thing?
I forget.
Well, you're kind of jealous. I mean, it's nice that I got a TV show, but I wish it had been on Apple. Come on, Hugh.
I like Shrinking on there.
I think Shrinking's great. I really enjoy
It's coming
Shrinking.
back. I'm rather excited. It
Is
has a
this
very
season
Scrubs
4?
sort of vibe. What?
Is it season 4?
I can't remember.
It's got
It's
to be
3 or
it's 3
4.
or 4.
I think it's 4. What did you say? It has a kind of a what vibe?
Scrubs vibe. Isn't it by the same people?
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say, did you know that? Because that's a random thing. Like, it is Bill Lawrence, the guy who made
I
Scrubs.
felt that when I watched it, and I probably looked it up after the fact.
Did you know that Scrubs is coming back?
Yes, and I'm kind of nervous about it, but
I hope it
Well,
comes back as strong as this show right here.
well, that bar is really low.
I think you could skip over that bar.
I don't know. I might hurt myself. Okay, there's that awkward pause. Bye.
Is that it?
Don't you have a 20-point agenda for us, Mr. Host?
Yeah, you're the host, dude. Like, step it up.
He's the
Johnny and
host
I are
with the
gonna start
hostess.
riding you like a rented mule. You do a better job.
Okay, I was going to ask. I did have a few questions here. What did y'all miss about not doing the show together, or at all? Like like we were doing it separately.
Well, how often have we seen each other? Like, like I've seen Sean maybe 5 times in the past few years. Like, we don't talk a whole lot. I mean, we have this writing project, but it's just now finding its footing. So we'll talk a little bit more. And Dave, I think I've seen you once in the past like 5 years. So for me, that's a lot of what this
I
is.
see Dave all the time.
Well, to be fair, Johnny did see me once, but he told me to get off his lawn, so I was like, okay.
Well, I also think that there's a fair chance that I've seen you several times, but I didn't know it because you were incognito.
In your window.
Yeah.
I miss the connection. I miss the chemistry. I miss talking about things that are exciting and important and knowing that, like they're resonating with people. I love that. And again, Author Nation was really instrumental in getting the show back on the air, just because talking to people who used to listen to the show and hearing how it impacted them impacted me right back. Like, I felt nostalgia. I felt pride. I felt like a hunger to connect with you both. Individually. Johnny can't count. We've probably seen each other like 15 times or something, but it's not a lot.
But it's not. It used to be constant. It used to be like we were working together, and I was in the Slack group, and I was in meetings, I haven't done any of that for like 5 years or more. So we've had the occasional. Yeah, it's probably more like 15 than 5, but it's not much.
Yeah.
Basically, if you want to be Sean's friend, you have to work with him.
There is sad truth to that.
He doesn't make time for anything but his wife. I mean, what kind of fucking loser spends time with their
And
wife?
his kids.
And his kid. What a dick.
Yeah, but my kids have both fucked off into the real world now.
So now you have time for me and Johnny again.
I do have time for you and Johnny. This is something like we all three of us consciously decided to make time for this year. And I'm glad. Like, I
woke up for this. And this is what time? 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 2.
Through the crack of noon, Dave.
Yeah.
So yeah, I miss the connection in every form of the word. I also feel like there's something about plugging in every week and having the recurring conversations that keep me really tapped into the bigger picture and the bigger vision. And again, I've missed innovation on, Strength Finders. Hey, Becca Syme, like, love Strength Finders. It's great. My first 3 things are ideation, surprise to no one who knows me. And the next one is, futurism, and then communication. And this show is a place where all 3 of those kind of really are able to come together. And I really love that. And I really have missed it. And I've missed you guys. I just miss talking to you guys. Like, this is fun. It's natural. I like things that have impact, but it's like what Johnny was saying earlier. He said it was low impact, but it's the idea
I meant
is
low effort. Low.
Yeah, it's like
It's
it
not
is
debilitating.
low hanging fruit, like I don't need a ladder. I could just go pluck the, orange off the tree, but like there's a lot of juice there. And I love that. I love the fact that the 3 of us can just have a conversation and, despite all the bullshit and the jokes and whatever, I know that every episode we're going to say at least 1 or 2 things
They get us canceled.
that land with somebody out there and change the way they think or they operate. And that's meaningful. And the older I get, the more I want my work to have meaning. It's like this whole thing with I've been really having I don't know, I've been having a lot of like inner turmoil about LinkedIn. I know I need to be on LinkedIn for some of the things that I'm trying to build, and it's not a native place for me. I'm not a social media guy. I'm as curmudgeonly as Johnny when it comes to social media. Like I'm not on
So
any
that's a
of the
tall order,
platforms.
man. I'm pretty fucking curmudgeonry with social media.
Yeah, it's just it's not my space at all, and I really do it's the responsible thing for me to be on LinkedIn in a very particular context, but, like, for a year, I've struggled with it. I'm just not enjoying my time on LinkedIn because I feel like it's like the dead skin of the internet. It's just this real, like, temporary posts that don't really matter, and I don't like doing content to be seen. I would rather create content to be remembered, and I feel like, it wasn't until, like it was really over the winter break when I was, like, thinking, "Okay, if I'm gonna do this," LinkedIn meaning, "if I'm gonna do this in the new year, it needs to be in a way that serves me." And by serving me, I mean, it needs to serve other people, and I need to know that I'm having an impact, and it has to be fun. And this is something that, like, I don't have to try. I don't have to try just to show up, be myself, connect with you guys, and the natural byproduct of that is that somebody out there is gonna benefit, and that just, like, really fills me with a lot of, like, joy.
So how are people gonna benefit? Is it just I heard a lot of people say, like, in the past, that they liked because they were coming up, either at the same time as us or shortly after us. We, inspired them. It kind of felt good to have other people on the battlefield with you, even like in your foxhole, even though we weren't, with them, we kind of were because we were in their ear or on the YouTubes every week. So, like, what is the benefit for viewers, listeners, whatever, other than seeing our beautiful faces once a week?
Well, I do think that I mean, we have a lot of stuff planned at Sterling and Stone this year that there's also going to be another podcast, not like I want this one to have some amount of traction first. Like I don't Dave has a colorful history of getting distracted, and I would love to have this show like have him steep into his host role and all of that. And then we're going to do another show that is about the studio and the creators in the studio, but it's more for people who love the stories that we make, where this show is for it's examples. It's hey, here's the things we're doing, here's the results. Johnny will sit, in the corner and be like, I'm not telling you what I'm doing. Fuck you guys. But,
New
I'm
Dave.
loading my gun, motherfucker.
yeah, but I actually think that once we get going, Johnny will warm up in that way too, because we did have a history of oversharing in a way that hurt us. But I think that because a lot of the bigger plays that we're making are not algorithmically driven, I don't feel that danger, and I love sharing when something is successful. And I think that I can throw out 100 things, and they're going to apply to 100 different people in different ways. And I just want to be authentic and talk about the things that are working and the things that aren't. And I think that those are going to land with different people in different ways at different times. But I'm really looking forward to sharing so that people who are, smarter artists will get smarter faster.
I feel the need to defend the curmudgeonry because I mean it's kind of a joke, but it's also kind of not. And Sean just said,
We're bringing him back. We're slowly gonna turn him back into the old Johnny. Then I can
Johnny, do you
get
want to
the
be
fuck
the
no, no,
out
no.
of
host?
Hold
here.
on. I want to kind of explain this because you're like, oh well, I'll warm up, and it's not that I'm cold. It's that I've just, and this is why it's kind of funny to say curmudgeonry or grizzled or whatever, is because we are kind of old guard in this just by the fact that
Are
we
you
were
the Logan
one of the
of this
first.
group,
I'm the
Johnny?
Logan. It was like so I've been in this long enough to see how, and I understand this is very human tendency to want to look for an answer and then grab onto that answer and then say that this is how you do it. And we've seen that cycle so many times. Like we wrote a book called Write, Publish, Repeat, and I don't think it's a direct line, but I think it definitely contributed to, or it certainly didn't negate the like rapid release idea because people were like, oh, if you write, publish, and repeat, maybe they aren't just talking about building a long-term catalog. Maybe it's like we can just go really fast and algorithm on Amazon rewards recency and all that. And so I've seen the way that people will pick up on something and then say, this is what you do. And people would call in and say, well, how many words should be in a cereal, right? Like as if that was a prescription. So when I'm curmudgeonry, what I'm actually saying is like, it just seems to me that the basics have never changed. You want to write good books. You want to find people who will read them, who will pay good prices and who will value them. And so that position is so non-tactical. And it's like, I've just told you everything that I believe, right? Like, so so anytime we threaten to go into like details or whatever, there's that line between here's me saying what I'm doing, and then somebody saying, therefore I am going to do that exact same thing, is really, really hard to disentangle.
Yeah, I actually totally feel that, Johnny, and I totally agree. And like I don't want to teach so much as speak from my experience. You know, these are the things that I'm doing and here's why. You know, we used to have that. I mean, it became a thing. It was a drinking game. Know your why, know your why, know your why. And I think that's always the important takeaway. Like, why are we doing something? Like, there's a lot of weird shit that we're doing right now, but we have a why behind every single thing that we're doing and how they all fit together. 9% of the people listening to this don't have a publishing company or a story studio or whatever. So their big pieces aren't going to fit in, but there might be one little thing that's like a light bulb. They hear that we're doing it. It may connect to other things that we're doing, but they're like, oh my God, I could do that for my
Oh,
series.
totally. And this is like me attempting to share a non-light bulb, right? Because it's not what anyone wants to hear. And so I think that cognitively people distance themselves from things that they don't want to hear. And it's like, okay, well, I didn't really get that. And I'm like, no, you probably did. I think, and I'll be curious to see what you guys think about this. I think that the things that I have done that have been successful have been a result of thinking on my feet, taking a blow, and then pivoting from it, like having to like have something not work. And so it comes from this like inborn wiliness is the only way that I can describe
all the things
it.
Dave wants to say right now that he's not saying. Look at him choking on his words.
But that isn't tactical. Like you need to learn a mindset. And it's so hard to tell people like, be resistant, like whatever that is, be resilient is the word that I'm looking for. Be creative minded. Keep in mind the simple truths that like people will pay good money
Yes,
for a small.
but Johnny, if somebody is listening and they see on a week to week basis that you are resilient and like that becomes a simple truth by example that they then want to embody.
Yeah, I'm not giving you a counter. I'm just saying that like I'm just stating this is my position is like that's what I think that people need to learn is how to think and behave and the like inborn traits more than what is the on the ground particular thing. Unless you're totally new and you're like, how do I publish a book? Okay, well, there's steps there.
There's so much it's not like when we first started, right? When we first started, we started early enough that we could get selfpublishingpodcast.com, right? It wasn't hard. We didn't have to fight for that. It was just like we were really early in the space. And like there's so much knowledge on just basically how to publish and how to create. And that's not what this is. This is just us talking about our experience and hopefully that impacts somebody, you know, or a lot of people, but in specific ways. I'm actually like it's shocking like that we actually totally agree on all of that, but you're getting the curmudgeon,
Well, there's no
label.
one right way for everybody. So right now it's like people talk about TikTok marketing. Like that's everybody's wetting themselves over TikTok marketing. I could give a fuck about TikTok marketing. And just to give you an example of this sort of thing. So I was at an actual live selling event. I had like sacrificed my Saturday and gone up to this event and set up a tent and it was really fucking hot. And so I'm out there and the guy next to me is like marveling at, oh my God, look at you. These are really cool. Like, look at your display. And he's like, you need to be on social media, TikTok or whatever. And I was like, yeah, that's not really for me.
Did he say TikTok or did he say book talk?
I think he said social media. I think he was more general than that. And I was
you
like,
should do a podcast. And you're like, you know who the fuck I am.
You know who I am, bitch. So I was like, yeah, that's not really my thing. But he wasn't listening to me. It was like, I'm telling you, I don't want to do that. And I've been around long enough to know what I want and what I don't want. So kind of stop. But he wouldn't. He kept proceeding. He was like, you could hire somebody to do it. It would be more. It would be more. And I'm like, I'm on a Saturday out sweating my balls off out here. Why aren't you telling all those people who are doing the social media to come over and do this? So like you're basically kind of low-key criticizing my business decisions while I'm doing something that nobody else is doing, telling me I should do something else. So like that's the way I look at all of this is some things are going to be right for some other people and you can't be like, you need to do this, you need to do this. Nor is everything additive. Like my decision not to do social media is what makes me able, like as a person who likes what I'm doing, able to do the rest of my career. So like that would be, if I want somebody to get something out of this, like I would love it if people would pick up on that. Oh, I don't have to do all the things. I can choose a few. that suit me uniquely and do the hell out of those things.
Yeah, no, you're really clear on your why. And like I love the TikTok / book talk example because yes, I mean clearly that is the platform for authors to get exposure, right? And I don't have, both of my children are TikTok people. You know, my son is actually really good at TikTok, and like he sends me shit and I'm like, God, like it just gives me a headache. I hate the platform. I will not put it on my phone. I will not engage. But I also know that, you know, as the owner of a publishing company, like we should probably have some presence there. But not enough for us to do it because it feels artificial. Unless you can really do it, it feels artificial. However, a couple of weeks ago, all of a sudden I saw the on-ramp. I'm like, oh, here's a way. Now I wouldn't personally do it, but here's a way. And a
Are you gonna
person
dress up as Lady Gaga and dance again?
no, but that was a deep cut. um
Google that, everybody.
please don't. Well,
Sean Platt dancing.
damn it. Dave. I did see an on-ramp, somebody that I could work with that I know and trust, and a way where our content would naturally fit and it would be fun. And that's for a future episode when we actually do it. But that would be a good example where when we do it, you know, maybe somebody else out there who was like, man, fuck book talk, I hate that idea, would say like, oh, I see how I could do it too. And it's not like you should do book talk or you shouldn't do book talk. You should always do, to Johnny's point, you should do the thing that is harmonic with your career and your desires and your why and what you actually want to accomplish, your energy levels, your bandwidth, all of that. But I think that like I learn and I get inspired by watching other people innovate and watching other people do. And, you know, we've been quiet. We've been quiet for a long time. And I felt like when we left, I really felt like it was time to retreat. Like I didn't feel like being in the public anymore. And now I'm feeling like I'm just excited. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to share.
I'm just curious why Johnny is like meeting people in public. Like, why expose yourself to risks? You don't know who's gonna like rob you.
Is this a
kidnap
joke
you.
question or is
Yes.
this
No,
an
no,
actual?
I'm honestly curious, like why, like I would never go out in public again.
Well, like here's the again, Dave hasn't left his house in like 6 or 7 years. It's the basics of commerce, which books are part of commerce if you want to sell them, are very simple. You need to put the right offer in front of the right people in the right way at the right time. That's it. That's all there is to it. Which means that if you have good stuff and it can, like, you need eyes, you need customers. That's a way that works for me. I get in front of people and I can watch people in real time and I can sell that way.
I forget that you live in a state where people still read. I forget that element of it.
Yes.
The books aren't burned yet.
Yes.
Okay.
Some people here do still know how to read. And so that's a way that works for me. But I mean, that different things for different people is just such a big deal. I remember when it was the Author Nation conference that Sean and I went to, that he was talking about a little bit ago. I listened to somebody and he was like, ads. Like, I do ads. I don't do social media. I do all the ads, blah, blah, blah. And then I went to watch Willa Winters, who said, I've never run an ad. I only do social media. And both of those people were really successful. And so seeing that, and then, you know, if I expand that thinking, then I go and like Ben Wolf is talking about doing live events. You know, Sasha Black on the Book Funnel podcast recently, that was a great episode. And she was talking about how much she loves TikTok because it fits her personality. And she just gets on and is an asshole. She's an ass, right? Yeah, it's perfect.
The things that you engage in to market your art have to fit your personality or you're going to be swimming upstream.
But keep in mind that it's just putting the right offer in front of the right people. That's it. There's no magic about TikTok. There's no magic about ads. There are different ways that you can put the best offer in front of the right people. I feel like we overcomplicate it. I feel like we're like, what button do I push? And we're like, how about you just put an offer in front of somebody? How about you know, hey, I've got a really shitty book with a shitty book cover. How do I game the system to sell it? Like, okay, maybe revisit your premise. Like, it's that sort of thing.
Okay. Well, does anybody have anything else? Because if not, I'm gonna start a new weekly feature here that I'm really excited about.
Mine are going to be mostly rants. You know, like What's Up Dave's Butt? You should come up with a theme for What's Up My Butt, because like I got rants. So I got more.
What is up with your butt, Johnny?
Just
Would you like
rants. All
to
the rants are
remove
up
any
there.
of it while we're on the air? Like
No, all the rants
proctologists
are up
come
there.
in? So, yeah, okay. Let's see. Okay, my feature, my weekly feature here, and this is just such a great idea.
I can't wait.
I'm leaning forward right now.
Well, my son loves Panda Express, and he's nice enough to give me one of the fortune cookies. So I figure every week that he gets Panda Express, I will
I
read the
actually love
fortune.
this already.
I will read the fortune to you, and I feel like this week's is actually somewhat appropriate. It is. Whoa, it's not going to work.
Dude, there's
It's
no way we can read that.
Just read
yeah.
it. It can be
Well,
anything.
then I guess you don't get to know what it's. It says, "Fuck you, Sean."
Wow, it knows
They're
me so
finally
well.
getting tuned in at Panda Express.
They are. They're tapping into the zeitgeist of the day. No, this says invest in yourself, Panda Express. So yeah, look forward to this every week. I'm gonna have a new one.
Wow.
It's my
Okay, so
excuse to
well,
write
you
off
do
fortune
you
cookies.
do. I have some rants on investing in yourself, but can we talk about how fortune cookies suck now? Because it's like, I swear, this could be me like interpreting pop culture into fortunes. Who knows? But it feels like fortunes are afraid, like fortune cookie companies are afraid of being sued. Wait a minute, I didn't win the lottery. You're sued. Like,
Yeah,
you know
they
what
don't
I
have
mean?
numbers on them. A lot of them anymore.
They won't give you a fortune. They'll just give you some like trite expression or something. Like, it isn't
I
like
liked
you
when they
will
were.
do this.
I liked when they were hyper specific. Like back in the day, I got one that said, "I will die of esophageal cancer," and
Right.
I thought that is very, very.
Right. Take a
Yeah. So,
stand, fortune cookies.
so I'm starting to believe they're not really telling a fortune.
Yeah,
But
like, do you remember
who
that
knows?
gag in The Simpsons where he gets the fortune cookie and he's like considering cheating on Marge, and he gets the one that says you'll find happiness in a new love? And then they show the guys at the fortune cookies. They're like, "Where out of these new love cookies?" He goes, "Open up the stick with your wife barrel."
I had a fortune cookie one time. It said that I would start creating with a bearded dude who kept children in his basement.
Right. See, that was the glory days. Make fortune cookies fortunes again. That's what I say.
All right, Dave, you gonna wrap this up for us, host?
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. I would like to say though, on a side tangent about my son, he watches these YouTube videos of these dudes talking. Hive Mind, it's called. It's a pretty good channel. They'll talk for like 2 hours on like just the music they're listening to or whatever. So he's watching this stuff, and I'm thinking to myself like. He's really like loving this. He's laughing his balls off. I wish he could watch our old shows and just see how much awesome material we had and what a psycho his father is.
Dude, okay, quick story, and then I know we need to wrap up. My daughter wanted to listen to our shows, and I always told her that she needed to be 13 years old at the youngest before she could actually hear the shows for a variety of reasons, right?
So that's what happened.
So yeah, we were coming back from a trip, and we were in the airport, and she says, "Hey, I'm old enough now. Can I listen to these episodes?" And I said, "Well, I'm like I wanted to say no, but I'm a person of my word. Go ahead." And so I'm sitting next to her on the plane, and she turns to me, and she takes one of her earbuds out and hands it to me. I put it in my ear, and it's a Soggy Biscuit episode.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yep.
A classic.
And I'm just like dying of like mortification. So yeah,
Was
I
she
don't
more shocked by you or by me or all of it?
know, I mean, it didn't even surprise. I mean, she knows who her father is. Like this wasn't a surprise to her, but just I can't just see the look in my head. I feel the look. Like I can still feel how I felt there. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a long flight because I wasn't like, you have to stop listening now. She had them all downloaded.
Well, and I believe that was a long discussion too. I think that went on and on and on. I see, if I were to write that scene into a movie, I would have her ask you that question, and then you'd say, "Go ahead," and then it would immediately cut to one of those scenes like where she's in the shower with her clothes on, like curled into a ball.
Or she gets up, walks to the middle of the plane, opens the door, and just jumps out. All right, I'm going to leave on that note. So thank you all for listening. We'll be doing this, once every week?
Yeah, sorry.
Or every 6 years.
Every 6 years, yes. We're glad to be back. Glad to be able to pollute the video airwaves once again with our nonsense. Thank you for watching, listening, and look forward to the death cult we're all going to start.
Excited to be here. Excited to see you next week.
Yep.
Stay off my lawn.
Adios.